And what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Nerd Initiative's first episode of Who in Review. You folks know me as Off the Cuff Tom. I can't tell you how excited I am to go on this wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey journey with you. But first, cuz it's in my contract. Coming at you live and direct straight from the Sanctum of Awesome. My name is Off the Cuff Tom. Nerd Initiative's Pop Culture Connoisseur. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. It is Monday night. Why are we on Monday night? Well, there's a reason why. Simply because we're giving you more content. We're starting today. We're starting the new revolution right here on Nerd Initiative. Right there. Nerd Initiative. Yeah, there you go. Right there. Now, the plan is what we're going to be doing here is that on Monday nights, all right? Because we all know Doctor Who. It is synonymous with disappointment. Disappointment as far as, hey, we used to do so many episodes a year. Then it's like, oh, wait. Mid-season finale and shorter episodes and this, that, and the other thing. Look, the TV landscape is what it is nowadays. So what we're going to plan on doing is that after I'm done doing these next few episodes of Doctor Who with my other bullpen companions, all right, we're going to step up and have a new TV review shows. TV being streaming, Netflix, Apple, whatever service you got is going to be on here. Monday nights, 8 o'clock, is where you get to talk TV with us. And I'm the one that gets us started. So I can't tell you how much of an extreme pleasure it is to be able to pass the torch on and share it with everybody right now. All right? So we're talking Who in Review. So we're back. Doctor Who's back. Ncuti Gatwa's back. It's the 15th Doctor. You know, it's episode 2. Not episode 1. It's episode 2. Right? So we're going to be talking about some shows. We're going to have some spoilers. So you're going to have a little spoiler alert right there. On top of that, it is an open talk and conversation that's going on here. So make sure you jump in the chat. I'll have some posted up on here. This is my first time ever doing this by myself. So bear with me. I am playing producer, videographer, lighting guy, the whole nine, all myself, just to share it with you guys. All right? I am a solo act tonight, and I think that's the way I want to start. I want to show strong how we're doing this. So, having that said, cross your fingers. Here we go, kids. All right, we're going to add that one clicky, and that one clicky, and then I'm going to make my face big over here because that's what I do. All right. So, we're talking about space babies, because everybody loves babies, and let's talk about space babies. The episode starts off real quick, literally minutes away from the first episode from the Christmas, New Year's special, the holiday special, I think they call it now. And there's Ruby Sunday, ready to make her choice. Is she going to get in the TARDIS? Is she not getting in the TARDIS? What's going on? She goes right in the TARDIS. She does it. And we get the whole, it's bigger on the inside. That's fine. This is all standard Doctor Who behavior. And that's cool. All right? What's really nice is, too, on top of it, with everything going on, the Doctor explains, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a Time Lord, I'm the last of my kind, you're an orphan, I'm an orphan, so on and so forth. It works out beautifully. Then we go over a few of the rules, and he understands that there's something particularly special about Ruby, being that she's kind of like a fixed point. Everybody's kind of watched Loki, so you have those particular moments in the multiverses where tangents go off of, and that's kind of what Ruby is right there. So her birth and her being left on that church step on Ruby Road is a fixed point. We can't change it, because that's going to lead to huge butterfly effects, which I have a theory about. We're going to come back to that much later. So stay tuned, because trust me, when I go off the cuff on my theories, and someone please put in the chat, he said the thing. So, Ruby jumps in the TARDIS. It's fantastic. Thank you very much, Ken. I appreciate it. I think I know who this is. So, I love you too. And all my buddies over there at the Netheads, also fantastic folks. You guys should go out and check them. So yeah, this is great, and I appreciate everybody, you guys coming along for the ride. Now, So we go back in the past, and she's like, where you want to go? I can go anywhere. You know, I don't do a very good English accent, but I'm going to try my worst while I'm doing this. So we decide, okay, well, let's go to the past. We go and see Oklahoma, where the wind rolls across the plains. But technically, how many billion years ago? Oklahoma, which is fine. She steps on a butterfly, and again, this is all going to go into theory. So they jump back in the TARDIS, and let's go into the future. We go to the future, and very reminiscent of when Rose showed up, or Amy, particularly Rose. You get this. You get that massive look over the Earth or planet, and you realize how small you are in the whole universe. If that's not picking up on some Rose and Eccleston vibes, I don't know, man. Like, you could probably go shot for shot with this. Now, pay mind to what's over here on the side, because the episode's called Space Babies for a reason. We'll get back to that. And again, in the same line as far as Rose or gotta kick out the... Exactly, that butterfly filter is just, you know, it's messing with everything. Or is it? Again, stay tuned for those theories. All right, ZB over here has a very good... I gotta kick out the butterfly filter. It makes sense. You'll see. But again, theory. Stick around. Babies, space babies. Again, hilarious part. One of my pluses for this episode. Next, we do the epitomous. Oh, we're in the 21st century. Gotta do the cell phones. Oh, gotta update it so we can call mom because TV. So Jackie, Mrs. Martha Brown, everybody, there's your nod to you. So, and we still see in the background there are babies in tubes, babies, but particularly, like Ned had said, space babies. And that's what the episode's called, because it says it right there too. Thank you, Ken. Space babies. Why are they on a floating platform in space? Now, before they got up here, they were in some deep, dark cavern and... Oh, sorry. Not going to spoil that one just yet. We're going to get to that. Sorry, I can see the chat. Hello, chat. Chat is over here, but chat will be here. But I get to control the show. Anyhow. So, something goes... Scares them. Elevator. Space babies. Oh, wait. Yeah, spoilers, sweetie. Seriously. Spoilers. I don't have my little book. Nor do I have, that wonderful actress. Phenomenal actress. I remember back when she was on ER. Anyhow, I digress. Tangent. We can't tangent. We're talking about Doctor Who. Don't get my ADD to go. Anyhow. Elevator. Boom. Space babies. All right, I'm down. Space babies. They look around. Nanny tells them to go over here. Some automation. Fantastic. And we literally meet space babies. Little, tiny, wee space babies. And they're not just, running around in prams. Yes. Ken is absolutely right. This is something I will... Yes, Vintage Who's storytelling, and thank you, Mickey. I greatly appreciate it. Folks have told me I've always should do stand-up, but honestly, I'm kind of lazy. I prefer to sit down, as I am right now in the Sanctum of Awesome. Just feel sorry for Ken, because this is what I'm generally like 97% of the time. Anyhow, space babies. Space babies are literal babies. They are they have the understanding of about 6 or 7 years old, but they physically can't grow. There's a reason. We'll blame the computer. But apparently in the future, there are baby farms because of sterilization, because of various amount of reasons that there would be, because it's the future and we're humanity, and it's just reminding us that, be excellent to each other. Why? Because... Thank you, Ken. Yes, Michelle Greenridge is Carla Sunday, Ruby's mom. I was making a nod back to Rose's mom, Jackie, who, if you remember, she was actually in King Ralph way back when. Anyhow, the space babies, the sterilization. Again, wait, TV, sci-fi is an analogy for real life, what's going on? If we screw up now, it'll affect our future? Wow, Roddenberry was right. Anyhow, keep going. So they're trying to figure out what was that thing downstairs. And they figure out, oh, well, it's possibly a boogeyman. Kids start going nuts. These kids are touch deprived. They've never seen a grown up before. So they automatically go, are you mommy and daddy? Which at the same time gave me really hard vibes back to Tenet. Are you my mommy? Are you my mommy? Or wait, are you my mommy? Are you my mommy? Seriously hard vibes. So they're trying to figure out the space station, why it's not moving. Oh, you can't move because it is a space station. Station meaning stationary. Because, that makes you my mommy. So we keep going, and we find out that Nanny isn't just an AI. Nanny is the goddamn queen herself. That's right. Straight over from that little show called Bridgerton. I don't know if everybody ever watched it on that Flicks of Net or something, right? How amazing was that? That we got a big cameo already in the second episode. Now that tells you one or two things. One, BBC's got the money to throw into the show now. Two, the mouse money they got for distribution rights is now upping the game on the show. Unbelievable casting. All right, I've got my little side screen here going. There you go. Golda, I'm going to screw this name up. Nanny was played by Golda Rosheuvel. Again, who played the Queen. And absolutely stole the scene here. To see her go from, oh look, we're talking about tea and crumpets and who's on who, to being on who, being a strong woman who took 7 years away from her life, 6 or 7 years, to take care of these children because they were just going to be left there to be left there. That was it. Because, again, analog of real life, birthing rights. I say it. It's my job. It's off the cuff. That's what I do. But we're not talking politics here or there. I'm just putting it out there. Talk amongst yourself. That is what the chat is for. Exactly. Ken is perfectly right. This was excellent casting. So she goes on to explain she's an accountant. She doesn't know anything about how the systems work. The only thing she knows how to do is go. She hits things, bangs things until it works. I can relate. I had to do something like that today, my job myself. Doesn't understand. So the doc takes his Sonic. Sorry, I left my Sonic in my other Polo. And decides to plug it in to try and help recalibrate the space station. Starts working. But they want to understand, what the heck was that thing? There's babies up here, no babies down here. There's down there. Yes, very funny. So they decide to figure out. And there was one little scene where, the kids are being taken care of. And, they talked about having nappy time and making sure that they're fed and when's dinner. And then we go, oh, time to blow your nose. Plot point. Totally didn't see it coming. Like, as the world's okayest uncle, I thought they were just being cute. There's a reason. Because of two. We come to find out that the teaching algorithm got complicated, complexed, all blah, 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 with the ship's AI. So not only was the teaching algorithm in the system teaching the kids, it was also teaching the ship. And if kids are are supposed to be the good guys, Well, everybody needs a good guy. If your good guys are only as good as your bad guys. So we find out what the creature is. It is the boogeyman. I can't do all those voices. So cheers to the sound effects, guys. And practical effects. This is a suit. This is no CGI. This is classic Doctor Who. We're finally getting back to showing, physical things on screen. And with today's technology, I can only imagine how much this was foam rubber and latex and maybe some wood filler and whatever. But it worked. It looked good. It looked campy. And I'll talk about that shortly. All right? It's the boogeyman. It's literally the boogeyman. This whole is made up of boogers. So, time to blow your noses, kids. It has been collecting boogies or bogies because, we're British. So, it's the bogeyman. For however long they've been over 6 years. So, we've got little kids producing. I probably could extrapolate how much made that, but I'm not gonna because we're here to talk Who and I'm not here to do math. So it's the boogeyman. It's like, okay, well, what do we gotta do? We gotta stop him. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. Ruby has a little admirer as well. One of the kids, absolutely adorable. He goes down to try and save her, and it's hilarious to the point that Nanny starts to see this, and as she's starting to gain control of the ship, she's trying to block off doors and do this and do that. But sadly, because the computer is being a bastard, I can say it, the filter is calling it, "You illegitimate person." Whoever in the writing staff thought of this did such a great job. So they start, moving around the walls and the doors, and, they get the bogeyman, stuck in an airlock. And Nanny decides, screw this, I'm opening the door, and as it's getting sucked out into space in this ooey gooey, phlegmy plasma, bleh, the Doctor has a moment and realizes that something he said. He's the last of his kind. Ruby is alone in the universe herself. So is this boogeyman. He is a one-of-a-kind thing. He starts to feel for it. Realize it's an alive thing. So he himself goes into the airlock to try and save him, which he does. Yay. Everybody wins. Everybody's all happy now. We're not going to talk about that yet. Spoilers. So it all turned out all well and good. But again, this is a space station. Stations stay stationary. Well, apparently there is a intergalactic law, probably because of the Shadow Proclamation and blah, 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 yada, 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 that states that if you're a refugee, you can, as long as you can land on someone's shores, metaphorically, you can find safe haven. But again, station. Can't go from there to there. Unless you have 5,000 or however many tons of metric nappies. And for those of you who are American, we're talking dirty diapers. So, yeah, dirty diapers. Did we open the airlock and... Thank you, folks. I do my own sound effects. Can't go wrong with it. And the kids, they land, everybody wins. Pretty much. So let's talk about this episode. Let's talk about some highlights and some lowlights, if there are any. I think, now a lot of folks, because this was a two-parter and we're going to talk about episode 2. Oh, I think it was great. Honestly, so Ken's saying here that it was so disgusting, but it worked for the story. It made scientific sense. I mean, you literally had fertilizer just do it. Stepmom's baked beans. Yeah, she should soak them a little bit less, which will give you more of a It'll give your body a little bit more time to break down the compounds, and don't ask how I know. Either way, talking about the episode. Now, because this was a two-parter, folks are already leaning one way or the other. And I implore you, folks, don't. Okay? This is where you get the very big issue, I think, in the Doctor Who fandom. All right? Maybe I'm going on my off-the-cuff soapbox right here, but your doctor is your doctor. Someone else's doctor is their first doctor. Take a moment, enjoy every episode for what it is. I know we just came off a rough patch, all right? So let's still be grateful. We still have Doctor Who. It could be the 80s. We could just go and then get a Fox made-for-TV movie. I don't think we want that. Sci-fi is so popular right now. Let's enjoy the moment that we're in. Take everything, every moment for what it is. Enjoy it. Suck it up. Go with it. Having that said, this was a perfect old school Doctor Who episode. It had camp, it had cheek, it had a lot of great callbacks, and on top of that, some really nice nods and seeing it in a new perspective of scenes we've already seen. Like I said, I referenced the fact that, Ruby looking over the Earth. You gotta, honest to goodness, if you don't have vibes of Rose looking out over the universe with Eccleston, seriously. I really think that, and I'm going to talk about, so Ken's talking out here right now, that it was a great vintage vibe. I'm going to break down how Ncuti has done in these two episodes a little bit later. Again, stick around. I am watching the time. I'm going to try and keep this to 1 hour, kids. All right? Bad. There was a lot of dirty diapers. And see, that's why, Ken, I am the world's okayest uncle, and you're just uncle. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you, netheads. And it's true. You have to give a doctor an entire season to find their stride. Capaldi is a fine example of that. But that is something else we can talk about at another time. If you guys want me to do a special episode to fill in, we can talk about Doctor Who. I can talk about some highlights, some lowlights of my doctors that I've watched. But again, let's talk about this episode real quick because Space World, Space Baby. This was great. It was camp. It was cute. It was funny. It had a little bit of running. It showed the naivete of Ruby trying to understand it, but she took it all in stride. Again, there's a reason. Now, because of the folks that we're going to learn about in the next episode are all interconnected, the first thing we have never really seen is a real causality of the butterfly effect. When they were in the past, rewind, Ruby stepped on a butterfly. And this happened. She turned into a creature and started talking very oddly. I mean, honestly, you could have possibly seen her as like the cousin to Madame Vastra. Okay? I have a theory. We'll talk about it. Because trust me, you're going to love it. So, let's get on to the next episode. I don't think I have any more pictures. Do I have more pictures? We're going to find out. Nope, we don't. So, episode 2. Switch the title. The Devil's Chord. A lot of folks don't know out here. Theory time is coming later. We're going to sit on the magic wibbly wobbly carpet, and we're going to talk theory time at the end for both episodes, because I think that there's little breadcrumbs between the two of them. All right, Ken? I'll bring out your chicken nuggets. So, The Devil's Chord. A lot of people might not know. I played music for a very, 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 very long time. I have a very specific taste and whatnot. But the fact that we are starting swinging right here and we're going to a very significantly relevant place and time in music history. It's not only that, but it's British too, because it's Doctor Who. We're going to Abbey freaking Road. Love the fact that we finally get to see the wardrobe. We don't know exactly where it is in this new configuration of the TARDIS. I know it's down the hall. It used to be down the hall from the pool, which was next to the library, until Capaldi pulled it into his, control room. But either way, we're going to Abbey Road. They get changed. I'll be quite frank. Again, this is just a gripe. Ruby could have gotten away with what she was wearing, but I love the whole mod thing that we got going on here. The pinstripe suit for the Doctor, very Tenet-esque. Again, we're going to talk about how I see some similarities between Doctors. I think he's still brewing, because if he was able to bring that butterfly back to life, there still might be a little residual, regeneration juice going on. They show up to Abbey Road because, again, Ruby grew up around great music, so kudos to Mom. They do the walk across the street. I mean, my nerd vibes, my music vibes, my sci-fi vibes, everything was going off just perfectly. All right. We get to Abbey Road and music sucks. So the Doctor decides, hey, well, let me try and play something. Everything sounds flat, or it's in minors, or, really crappy diatonics. Because again, I play music. Don't do it anymore. I can still hum a few bars. Something's wrong. Really wrong. But at the same time, something's right, because we're at Abbey freaking Road. And if we're at Abbey Road, that means who else is there? John, Paul, George, and Ringo. That's right, the Beatles themselves. It's wonderful. Now I can do a really good George impression for some reason. I don't know why. It's great. Now, earlier in the episode, we were introduced to a new character, the Maestro, who apparently, using a particular sort of tritone, a genius musician was able to bring them to our universe. Sorry, playing on the other screen here. Don't worry, I'm still here with you. I like looking at my face though. But the Maestro was brought into this universe, and the fact that Jinx did such an amazing job, again, goes back to casting, goes back to just the amazing amount of talent and money they can throw at the show now. Jinx Monsoon plays the Maestro, and honest to God, any of my DC fans out here, all right, can you raise your hand and say, Music Master, only now it's up in Doctor Who. That's a really good point there, Z. Talking about here about the tongue-in-cheek joke about, fashion coming back around. It can't go. Netheads, I see your comment here. That's going to be one of my gripes. I'm going to bring that back around later. Right? And Ken says, I guess because, I think the Maestro is a really fun live action version idea of Doctor Who's interpretation of the Music Meister. I mean, sadly, we couldn't have NPH reprise that role. But either way, Darren Criss still did a decent job on Supergirl back then for Supergirl. Anyway, it's the Beatles. So the Beatles again have a couple, and they said, music just doesn't good anymore. What would I do if I didn't have music? Oh, I'll probably be a bricklayer or a butcher or something. I don't know. And the reason being is the Maestro is literally sucking the soul of music out of people, because the Maestro is creating their new symphony. The symphony of no sound. Now, on two notes. One, I think that's a great idea. I think that is so diabolical. But at the same time, think about it, folks. You had a rough day. You just want to separate from the world. You want to relax. You don't want to hear anything. You need that music. It's solace in silence. And for being as the Maestro, being as big as all powerful, ultimate cosmic power, that's something to achieve. So I get it. How many tens of thousands of years did it take to finally for the Maestro to come over? The fact that the Maestro had a tuning fork that could make things happen at the sonic level. Just saying. It's a really great idea and concept for a bad guy. But the fact that it's not just taking music, but taking the souls out of people and making the world a worse place. that they jumped ahead in the future from this, and I'm going to say alternate timeline. I will absolutely say I think we're getting some views of alternate timeline with Butterfly Effects in this season. That war has ravaged the earth. Without music, there's no love. Without love, there's no compassion. Without compassion, there's no understanding. And when there's no understanding, there's war. Again, real life and sci-fi are an analog for each other. Shit. All right, Beatles, cup of tea, no music. I gotta say. And then here we go. Talking about Jinx Monsoon. Jinx, she has done a wonderful job. If we didn't get Neil Patrick Harris as a toy maker in the other episode, this would have been NPH. My full opinion. Can't go wrong with that. Wholeheartedly. But to go from NPH to Jinx Monsoon, I'm still down. Jinx played the unbelievable crescendo and decrescendo and the piccolo and the pizzicato to the big, huge, fortuitous forte in the character. All the little tiny things. Changing their voice when there was an issue. Acting. Amazing. No wonder they were the winner of RuPaul Season 5. Because, I do know. Up next, we got something else. So, long story short, the Doctor needs to figure out the anti-chord, so against the Devil's chord, to the Maestro. He gets so close. And the fact that they went out from a really creepy tritone chord to a longer chord, I didn't have a chance to look at it specifically, but I think it was a major seventh or sustained seventh. I'm not completely sure. Anybody who's a music major, hit me up right there in the chat or the super chat. Let me know. Was fantastic. But we all got so many notes. And then who comes in with the last note? Chat. I'm looking at you. I'm looking down here for the chat. Are we on a delay? Either way. It was Jordan. It's right. The Beatles saved the day. They saved music around the whole wide world. It was wonderful. Can't go wrong with it. And they filled in that last note because that note was still living in them. Somewhere. That's right. It was a Beatle. George even. You know. Imagine all the Beatles saving all the world. Anyhow, I guess he was a dreamer, but he wasn't the only one. So to come back around, and it really was just so much fun to be able to play with music history that way, to play with, historical places. And also the fact that this all took place, again, in one particular place, that just goes to showing how you can literally have an episode in a room with Doctor Who if it's written well. It was Paul. Oh, excuse me. Thank you, Leonine. Not George or Ringo. Well, Ringo was just keeping the beat anyway. So during the episode, Doctor theorizes that the Maestro is part of what's called the Pantheon. So the Pantheon is a whole bunch of, I wouldn't say extraterrestrial, extra universal is going to be the word I'm going to coin here, because they live outside of space and time particularly. We also find that the Maestro is the child of the Toymaker. So that was interesting. And then during the big music battle, which was fun, the Doctor even says, your parent said that you established the rules of fair play. So again, I love that whole through who that we're getting there. It's fantastic. Not only do we have Trickster, or Sorry, spoiler. Not only are we getting the toy maker, we're getting the maestro. The pantheon also consists of the trickster. Now, if those of you don't know, who might not have watched any of the other episodes, ancillary media that goes with Doctor Who, the trickster showed up in Sarah Jane Adventures. God bless you, we love you, Sarah Jane. We do miss you hanging out there. And Sarah Jane and David Tennant's 10th Doctor took care of the trickster. I think it's fantastic that we're really building on a very thin thread to go off of. I think that in the past, the little things that have been alluded to, those little threads that we never started with, are finally coming back around smartly. We even got a note to the timeless child saying that the Doctor can't go back. I'm the last of my kind. I don't really know where I come from. I'm an orphan. I think it was great. Now, other fantastic things that we had during this episode were things like the mention that this took place in 19... Oh, that's right. Ken said it. It's all connected. It's more like a rug. I'm telling you. It's not linear. It's more like a rug. And speaking of which, in that rug, we notice that we're in 1962. Who else was in 1962? Oh, thank you. Like I said, this is me. This is why I do this live, ladies and gentlemen. My terrible editing skills has now shrunken Neil Patrick Harris. I'm sorry. From now on, he will now sing soprano because he's all of this. Again, I was 83% sure I did this right. If you know, you know. But also in 1962 happened to have been... Oh, that was my last slide. Look, I'm missing the other slide. Yeah! Awesome. So in 1962, William Hartnell's Doctor had just appeared. So we're literally going full circle, and the 15th Doctor mentions, oh yeah, I just live right down there with my granddaughter, Susan. Whom of which we haven't heard about Susan in years. So really good nod. You cannot go talk New Who, and eventually, boom, we're going to talk about Susan. That's such a great nod. Now, things that were brought up and a little bit of world building. Again, the Maestro is the child of the toy maker, and that these characters are going to be part of what's called the Pantheon of Discord. You can find them on Discord, not join the Discord and we're going to chat. Discord is, utter chaos, and I'm all about that. I think it's interesting that they're choosing to go this line, and I think it's a really good idea simply for the fact that if we're still going to follow a bit of this timeless child thing, which I think has something to do with it, it's going to make sense in the long run. Now, little other things. During these episodes, we saw that the Doctor had a flashback of Ruby Road, of Ruby being left on the church step, and when he came back from his own memory, there was literal snow around them. Okay? Why? It is one of those fixed points. And then, we also go back to the fact of, I think I clicked it enough. Sorry, one more. We go back to this. Everybody says that it could be the butterfly filter. Here's my big theory. Everybody there? All right? Everybody ready? I'm going to wait in the chat to make sure to at least get 3 I'm readies, and then I will tell you my theory. I can wait. Okay, I can't wait. I got a let's go from the boss. Let's go. My theory is that Ruby is the child of the Pantheon of Discord. they're gonna play on the whole Amelia Pond and Donna Noble and Bad Wolf and all right, I got a big let's. I think the boss wants me to do my job. I got it. I think that Ruby is a child of the Pantheon. She just doesn't realize it. Um, Being left there on the church steps with the snow, and then the stepping on a butterfly to this huge alternate universe is an alternate universe. It wasn't the butterfly effect. Did things happen? I really think that this is going to play out, and Ruby is probably one of the most important people in the universe. Again, going back to that Doctor Who trope. I think it's smart writing. I think after everything that we've seen with the past few Doctors, to go back in this direction to make the companion more in line with the story is a great idea. Now, Ken here has a theory that it's Susan. I don't know. I think it's a great theory as well, and that's what TV Talk is for here. Yeah, let's call Mondays TV Talk on Nerd Initiative. I like that. We'll go with that. I think Ken likes that. Ken, tell me, do you like that? I think it's a great idea to be able to tie it all together, to bring the companion back in. I think there was a bit of distance between, say, Bill or the fam with Jodie Whittaker because we focused. It wasn't evenly balanced out. It was kind of spread around. So to go this route is a really good idea. I think we can get some really well-written episodes out of it. And having that said, let's talk about how some of the writing went. Just like Ned had set it up here earlier, that you have to give time to the Doctor, not the Devil's Court. You have to give the Doctor time to find themselves. I saw two different Doctors come out in these two episodes. I saw David Tennant very much in the first episode in Space Babies. The fun, the jovialness, the ooh, what's this button do? And I know Matt Smith had that going for him as well, but I found more Matt Smith in Devil's Court because realizing the significance of music and the souls and the warrior that had lost things. Would I say it's 50% here and 50% there? I think that it was more scene by scene. It was more one Doctor or the other. I think there was very much things of 10 and 11 going on here, and I think that's where Ncuti's kind of aiming for. I think he's going to pick out certain things. I think there's going to be some more Tennant-esque, brainy, smart vibes. I think out of Matt Smith, we're going to get more of the Broken Warrior, which is one of my favorite things. Speaking of one of my favorite things, I don't know if does it show up on the chat when I do this? Yeah, it's hand pink waving. Hi, honey. I really do think that Ncuti's gonna find his own Doctor in between what these two previous actors put out. I can't wait to see how the actor himself puts himself into the role and mixes it all again to make it all wibbly wobbly, tiny whiny. It's gonna be one very interesting Doctor that we're gonna get out of this. And again, relying on the companion, keeping the companion a companion, because God knows I hate when they do the whole love interest stuff, is a really good idea. So, let's talk in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about these two episodes right now. Is there any other theory that anybody else has here? Player 9 here has the theory that they're starting to realize they're in a TV show or something similar. That's an interesting idea. I've only really ever seen that, not counting Deadpool and the whole fourth wall breaks and Saved by the Bell. The best example I've ever seen of that, because I am the pop culture connoisseur from Nerd Initiative, was the series finale of the 90s Spider-Man. If you think about it, when Peter meets a Spider-Man that doesn't have powers. Why? Because he's from the world where it's an actor. The new TARDIS, I think, is a very smart idea. I think that because it is a brand new Doctor, it is a brand new series, it is a blank slate, and having the whole idea of LED lights to do this, that, and the other thing adds to the fact that it's a blank canvas. Um, Starting off with a single companion, very much evocative of Rose, just like when New Who started. Do we need another companion? I don't know. How are they going to introduce another companion, considering the actress has already confirmed that she is leaving the role? Again, don't know. Um, I think that it's all going to turn out okay. Now, did anybody have any issues with the episodes? I know I saw earlier that we had Netheads mentioned that the musical part of it uh, was a turn off. I don't know Ncuti Gatwa's background. Okay, I do know that the Christmas special with the whole goblins and the singing and the jazz, I was down. I was in for it. Do I think Russell T Davies might have taken a note, say, from that one particular episode of Strange New Worlds? Maybe. Um, does he realize that a lot of folks nowadays have been influenced because of Hamilton, and here we are, how many years later, and musical theater and the showmanship of it is now becoming a real draw? I mean, go back and just a few weeks ago, look at Has Been Hotel. That's amazing. I think incorporating these elements is a good way to get new viewership. At the flip side, I think it's a great way to reinvigorate old viewership, one way or another, whether you got your ire up versus not. For me, I'm down. I'm in. Was the sequence maybe a little too long for me? Yes. But I can't go wrong with it. I mean, I know Ken's probably, bopping right now to that, big scene at the end. I think he is. But having that said, folks, is there anything else we want to talk about? I got time. I got time to spare. Look at that. How about that? If not, I'm going to drop a QR code here because, I got to do my homework. You're doing all this stuff. Now, make sure, if you want to follow me personally, you can scan this QR code right here. I know it's also down in the notes below. It's in the description boxes. It should be on everything on all the holy social medias because I believe I'm out on like 9 different platforms right now. And if I'm not, I will find a 9th one by next week. If not, if you don't want to follow me, because, you just had such a great time, but you want to make sure that you follow everything else I do, make sure tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, same time, same channel, turn a page where we talk about we're talk comics. We really talk comics. And the best part about Turn a Page, it is, if you haven't heard, the internet's greatest comic book club. And if you're not there, then where are you? Seriously. On top of that, if you still want to keep going on with what's going on with the Nerd Initiative, make sure you contact us. Get on the mailing list. And if you are so enthralled with what we're doing here over at the Nerd Initiative, you need to do the thing. Click that QR code, because we love QR codes. If you can't tell, click that last QR code. Get your nerd on. Wear your geek patch with pride, right on your sleeve, right on your hat, right on your cup of coffee. I mean, if you can't, then what's stopping you? There's so many other things going on. On Thursdays, we've got, dropping in from the top rope, Wrestling Like Live. Ken, our editor-in-chief, also works with Rich, our man about the ring, who's going to be bringing you all the news going on in the world in professional wrestling, AEW, Japan, WWE. I think Ken should be impressed at the fact that I at least named 3 of them. Aside from that, we also have a fantastic new show coming out this Friday. Megan is going to be bringing you the review of X-Men 97. I cannot wait to see where she takes this. She's been doing some phenomenal reviews. Make sure that you're following along with us. And again, we appreciate everybody coming along this journey. We really hope to see you folks in the future. I want to see you back here next week, 8 o'clock. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. Ooh, I got more chats. That's right. Definitely, as Ken said. Join in And yes, we do love our QR codes. And again, this is an open conversation. I see a lot of folks up here. You guys can't see this. I can see this. I can see things here. It is a pleasure to be able to start this whole journey with you for the Nerd Initiative. The next wave, the next revolution of the Nerd Initiative is right here. It's right now, and we're happy to have you along with it. Tomorrow night, turn a page, and as always, next time you go to the wait, sorry, that's tomorrow night's thing. As I always like to say back when I was a streamer. Thanks so much. Be excellent to each other. Stay safe out there in cyberland.